Robin, issue 4, Joshua Williamson, and we have a different artist for this issue. We have Jorge Corona filling in. To be fair though, I think it does a just decent job of feeling like the same style as the previous. It doesn't feel like a drastic shift.
It's the same style. I think it is notably not as good.
I would agree with that, but I appreciate an attempt to feel like it's the same sort of vibe, because sometimes you get a different artist and it's like, oh, all of a sudden it feels like we're at a different time period because the art looks completely different or whatever. So if you remember last issue, Ra's al Ghul showed up and saved Damien when he was falling to his death. And this issue, Damien's with Raz on a separate little island, questioning him why he, like, never told him about the League of Lazarus. Are you working with the League of Lazarus? What's going on here? What are you up to?
And it turns out he's Ra's al Hippie now and just doesn't give a shit about any of this.
Yeah, but you know what? This did reference Batman the Outsiders. Raz does bring up that he got defeated in that book, so I appreciated that. The other Deathstroke-looking person on the island kills Rose. Obviously not permanently, because we're on Lazarus Island.
Yeah. Respawn, I believe the name is.
Respawn, that's the one. And she doesn't know who Respawn is, and she even asks, like, who are you? Like, why are you such a fangirl?
It says the voice sounds familiar.
Or fanboy. Or do we know what the gender Respawn is? Hard to tell. Because, I mean, they're fully clothed, so it's hard to... and they're clearly a kid, so, I mean, the size doesn't really give it away either.
Yeah.
But this is also notably the final death needed, because everyone has to die once before the tournament can start. So that's the big deal here, is that there's going to be... the tournament's going to start at dawn or whatever. I did like the silhouette page where she actually kills, or where they kill, not knowing the gender, Rose, with the silhouette with the blood splatter. I think that's a really nice panel, actually.
Yeah, it's really good.
Even if the art overall is a little bit weaker than the regular artist. But yeah, it's some Damien training with Raz and him talking about his strengths and saying that he hears some of his father in him when he's talking about, various things. But
yes, do some yoga. It's all mental as well as physical.
Yeah, and he's like talking about the stars, and he's looking up at the stars with Damien.
And it gets back to the idea that Raz is not evil.
Mm-hmm.
He falls into the same category as like Ivy, in that he's got a goal that he will achieve at any means necessary, but it's not an inherently bad goal.
Yes.
Also, there's a panel of Goliath doing yoga with the others, and it cracks me up.
Yeah, it's good. Goliath is around in this issue, yes, and we've not seen him too much recently, I don't think.
No, I think it was probably in that Titans book not that long ago, but
possibly. But I mean, obviously we fell away from that. So
yeah, I think I remember there was a big point where Goliath abandoned Robin at one point because like Robin was being too evil, and he's like lost his way. So even Goliath didn't want to be with him anymore. Yeah,
Damien sneaks off, steals Raz's ship, and I kind of like that Raz pets Goliath and says, "My grandson is demon and detective." And it's kind of go back to what I was saying about John and Superman, is the idea of playing with the fact that he's both Superman and Lois Lane equally.
Yeah.
The idea that Damien is both, as Raz puts it, detective and demon. That's how he would phrase it. We would probably phrase it more, but equally Batman and Raz, I guess, but or Ghoul. He's equally Ghoul.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Al Ghoul probably, but
Al Ghoul, whatever. Ghoul sounds better. But anyway, so Damon goes off. He's spying on the supply lines that are coming into the island. He wants to know what's going on. Gets a little bit of the ghostly Alfred chatting to him, but he witnesses that the League of Assassins and the League of Lazarus are in cahoots in some way. There's like a sort of handoff happening here that has been all secretive that he witnesses. So that's a fun little plot beat for later. And the cliffhanger is that there's some people following him on the rooftops, and he's like, I knew I couldn't trust Ravager. And it's obviously teasing that maybe like some assassins or some villains are coming after him, but then the final page reveals that it's Nightwing, Steph, Jason, and Tim, the Bat family, and they're like, it's time to come home. So, which obviously is a cliffhanger goes as something that warms my heart as a Bat family fan, because it's like, presumably this will be them, like he's going to convince them that he should stay and finish whatever his mission is on the island because it's important.
Yeah, presumably. Otherwise, this book is about to take a very drastic change of direction.
And maybe they'll even like help a little bit. Maybe
I suspect they'll have a bit of a fight first because that's
Sure.
how these things work. But ultimately, they'll come to respect that this is his choice and he's doing this.
Yeah,
Right.
it wouldn't surprise me if they help. Maybe not on the island itself, but maybe like some of the shady stuff that's happening back in the mainland. Like maybe some of these Bat Family characters will end up like helping by like taking out some of the League of Assassins or something. Off in the distance as a side plot whilst he's like doing all this stuff on the tournament. But yeah, we're ready for the tournament to start properly. I think we spent what's this, 4 issues now building up to it.
4 issues plus the 2 backups, so kind of 5 issues.
I would say it's maybe been 1 too many. I would say 3 was probably a neater number.
I agree, but I don't think it was this issue that was the 1 too many. Because this issue felt different to all the others, being focusing on around Raz and doing all that stuff. This probably felt the most distinct and unique issue of the book so far. You could probably have condensed like issues 2 and 3, and could probably have been condensed into 1 issue.
Yeah, I think 1 was perfectly fine. 1 was perfect as a first issue. 2 and 3 probably could have been condensed a little bit. I'd say 2, 3, and 4 could have been reshuffled into 2 issues. How you do that is up to the creative talent, but
yeah,
it does feel like maybe it was 1 issue too much building up to it. But I do appreciate that it did build up to it, though. I appreciate that it wasn't just the tournament starts in issue 2. I do appreciate that because I think it benefited having a little bit of suspense, making it feel like a big deal, setting up some of the characters before the tournament starts, all these things.
I think part of this as well is pacing of as it's coming out. I think in the trade you probably won't mind that this is 4 issues.
I concur with that.
If this was double shipping, we probably wouldn't mind as much, but monthly, it's felt like a while since we started this book now, and we're only really just starting now.
Yeah, so I think that's a fair point. So there you go. That's Robin. What are you giving it?
Maybe at 7.5. Art's okay. I don't think it's quite strong, but it's consistent at least. A couple of little moments that I really like with the art as well. Like the opening where it turns out Damien dreams in manga, because of course.
Veil stuff.
I think it's a pretty distinct issue, but it's not quite great. I'm ready to get on with the main story now.
Yeah, I'll go 6.5. That is perfectly fine. It's a quick read. Like I always appreciate that this book never feels like one to add on. Like it never feels like, oh, this is a book that I'll cut if there's too many books, because it always feels like it just goes in so quick that it's never a time sink by any means. It flows really well. So credit for that. And I do like the ending. I do like some of the stuff it's teasing, but it did kind of feel like a lot of it was just like him and Raz mumbo jumbling on a beach, and that could have been maybe condensed a little bit. Which is why I say maybe you could condense this a little bit with issues 2 and 3 as well.
Fair. I think, and my concern is, we're ready for this tournament to start. That's probably not going to happen next issue either, because we've got the Bat Family to fight for an issue.
Yes,
which I'm looking forward to.
I mean, honestly, the first trade could be that prelude issue, the issue 0, or that 2-part backup thing plus 1 to 5, and then the second trade is where the tournament actually is.
That is blue balls to the highest degree for anyone who's just reading that in trade.
But we're close enough to it that I can see that being true.
Me too.
Because it'll just
the trade listing's probably already up.
It'll end with, because issue 5 will probably end with Damien getting back to the island and being like, okay, it's time for the tournament. Cliffhanger.